In this video, I'll show you how I made these windows for a building made of XPS foam. For this tutorial, I made a sample wall to illustrate the process. I first drew in where the window would be, including a sill and a lintel. Then I drew in the stone pattern. Next, I cut out the window with a snap-off blade knife. Then I cut out the sill and pushed it out a little bit to give the window a more realistic look. Then I deepened the lines, and using a crumpled up ball of tinfoil, I gave the stones some texture. I didn't texture the sill or the lintel because I imagined those would be a different kind of stone, so I left them smooth. Then I painted the stones. Now we're ready for the wooden window frame. For the wood, I just found this old wooden stake in my garden. The more weather-worn the wood, the better the window frame will look. I cut my pieces using a coping saw. Then I cut them in half again. You'll want the wood pieces to fit snugly into the window opening, so when you cut, air slightly larger. You can always sand the ends down a bit if needed. I find it helpful to label the pieces. Here's how it looks with the wooden frame in place. Now let's put in the metal grate. I had this piece of wire mesh lying around in my garage after a home repair project. It's called stucco netting, and I found it to be perfect to use as a window grill, to give the window an old and kind of medieval look. A small cardboard template cut to the size of your window will help you cut the piece of mesh to the right size. Then, to give the metal an old age look, paint it black. When the black paint is dry, apply a light touch of gold using a dry brush technique to give the metal an old rusty appearance. Here's the grill inserted into the window. You'll probably need to make some minor fine-tuning snips of the wire to get it to fit in. You'll want it to fit tightly, so be careful and don't cut too much. For a final touch, a piece of yellow tissue paper works nicely to give the windows a warm glow, especially if they're illuminated from within, like I did with my Presepe or Italian-style Nativity Scene. Here are the dimensions for the window, in case you're interested. I'll mention that I sized this window to fit the scale of the 5-inch Fontanini figurines I use in my Nativity Scene. I hope you found this information useful. If so, you might want to check out some of my other videos. Anyway, thanks for watching and have fun with your own projects.